Hello. Hi, everyone. So funny when you start a Instagram live because nobody's actually watching when you start, so you feel kind of dumb because you're talking to no one. But here we go. I know people are going to be jumping on. My name is Erica, and I work for MS Insight. We are a patient advocacy group here, and we do a lot of interviews with patients. And I'm so excited today to bring you an interview with a friend from Instagram. Her name is Diana. She's going to be joining us here in just a moment. Her story has inspired me. She's requesting to join, so we're going to bring her in. Let's take just a moment for her to pop up on the screen, and then we're going to hear a little bit about her story. Hi, Diana.
Hi, Erica.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be chatting with you today.
Well, first of all, I love your glasses.
Oh, thank you.
They're so cute. And I just saw that you have a picture with Neil Patrick Harris, which is also very cool.
Yes, it was such an amazing moment. He just happened to be there, and my husband asked, like, can you take a picture with my wife? I died. I was dead.
Where were you? Where were you at?
It was in Brooklyn, New York, a shuffleboard place. So we were celebrating my 35th birthday, and Neil was there with his husband, David, and a whole bunch of Food Network people, stars. So I got lucky.
That is so cool. So do you live in New York?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
In Brooklyn.
New York is where it's at. That's where you're going to see people for sure.
Right. It was the first time, and I was so surprised and shocked, but I love to see celebrities, and I never do. So that was
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, it is really cool when it happens. My number one famous one is Ben Affleck. So feel pretty good.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I got a picture, which was very cool.
Oh, that's nice. You have to email that one to me.
Yes. Well, and actually, it was also with Jennifer Garner. So I mean,
She's
love
she's
her.
a pie.
She's so great. I just love her so much.
Like apple pie. That's what I.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
Awesome.
I guess we can get to talking about what we're actually meant to talk about today, which is MS. So you are one of the people that I am always seeing pop up in my feed, and I love this stuff, the positive stuff that you put out there. I love what you're doing with reels. I think those are so fun. And so I thought, I'd really love to hear your story. And also I saw that you were a part of the documentary, which I want to talk about. So So I guess let's just kick things off. Tell us a little bit about who you are and, who you are in life, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, my name is Diana, everyone. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So lucky with that, to be in the center of everything. I'm a writer. So before I had MS and I was writing about MS, I was writing lifestyle and relationship content. I'm married. I have a daughter. She's almost going to be 3. So she's a handful. She's a lot.
Same. My daughter's going to be 3 this weekend.
Oh, happy birthday. Isn't it I mean, they're a handful, but it's also like such a great age. They're so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I am a stay-at-home mom, and I produce content because I'm a writer and a blogger. So, I do that, but also I've really loved building a community. So it started off as like writing content, and now I'm meeting a lot of people in the MS community who I consider like my IG friends, like people that you see all the time, like your community basically. So I do that, but a lot of momming.
Yeah, it kind of takes over sometimes.
Yeah.
So tell us your MS story. When were you diagnosed, and what was that experience like?
I was diagnosed in 2012. I was 27 years old. I was engaged to be married, and one day I just woke up with pain in my eye. And I thought nothing of it, just because I was like, oh, it'll go away. And the next day it didn't go away. It got worse. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And by the 3rd day, I was like, all right, I have to go see a doctor. And I'm not the type of person to rush to the doctor. But I made an eye appointment because it hurt. And on the day of the appointment, it completely went completely dark. Like I couldn't see in one eye. Um, so I went to do an eye exam, and I had worked in an optical store. So my glasses, I worked in an optical store. So I went there. So they did the exam, and the doctor's like, well, I think you have optic neuritis. Don't freak out. You should go see an ophthalmologist. So it was like diagnosis in a New York minute. I went to the ophthalmologist. They did my eye exams. She's like, don't freak out. The second doctor to say that. But I think you might have MS. You have to go to the hospital right now. And so that was that. It was like within a week.
And so what was your first thought when you heard that?
At first I freaked out, and then
they said don't freak out though.
Pardon?
They told you don't freak out.
Yeah, they said don't Google it, don't Google anything. So of course I Googled, right? Of course. But I went into denial. Like I think I was like in a cloud, you know. There's those people, and I love those people, the people who are like get diagnosed and they change their diet immediately, and they're like, I'm changing my life. I was the opposite. It was very hard for me to wrap my head around.
And so did you immediately go and seek treatment?
Yes. I went to the hospital, and I was admitted for 7 days. They gave me steroids, and that started the journey. I started on Copaxone. I was very depressed during this time. So I like to talk a lot about that, because it's not just like the MS, it's your whole entire life is different now. Although nothing changed, just that you got a diagnosis. Now you know like what's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's the mental side of things is so much a part of it. I mean, you see that, statistics show that people with chronic illnesses do have higher levels of depression, and that's because it's not just physical, it is mental. And so it's been 9 years since then. What has it been like since then? Have you been on and off different medications? Have you found something that works for you? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I was on Copaxone, as I mentioned, and that's an injection. And at the time that I was given it, it was a daily shot. Now it's 3 times a week. And I didn't really like it. You're supposed to shoot in fatty tissue, just not your butt, and not like certain places. So it's like only a little part of your body that you could shoot into. And I started shooting into the same place, and it just hurt me, like, so I got off of that. And then I was on Tecfidera, which works very well for me. When I'm on Tecfidera, my MRIs have shown no new lesions. And well, with Tecfidera, it's no longer covered by insurance because I think they're like the brands, their license ran out. So now there's a generic version. So I'm going to take that.
Okay, that's good. I was going to say, how can they just stop covering like a necessary medication?
Yeah. They're like, no, just take the generic version. Well, which like I've looked on the websites. It's the main ingredients like that makes the medicine work. They're very similar in name. I'm going to give it a, but Tecfidera is twice a day, 1 pill each, and Veremedy is twice a day, 2 pills each. But less side effects, people say.
Oh, that's good. So what does it look like for you? I mean, does it really keep symptoms at bay, or what does it look like for you on a daily basis dealing with MS? Did you hear me? Sorry.
Well, actually, if you could repeat that, I had a call come through.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I said, what does living with MS look like for you on a daily basis?
Right now, because I stay home with my daughter, and because it's been like winter and COVID and whatnot, it's just managing my energy. Like, how much energy do I have today, and to do what? with the weather improving, like we've been going to the park, and that takes a lot of energy out of me. So I'm like trying to figure out what can I do today so that I'm good for tomorrow, basically.
A lot of pre-planning.
Yes, but you can't really plan it because recently I did a lot of activity and now I'm kind of like in a brain fog moment. Like laundry has been piling up.
Yeah.
Like my husband's off doing it. I'm like, I just can't. Like, I just don't have the bandwidth. Just
Yeah, I can imagine how overwhelming like some things that you would think would be easy can be though, because that's a big task. So I understand that. I'm just looking at my questions over here. Tell us a little about the documentary that you're a part of called Beneath the Surface.
Okay, so that was a wonderful experience and wonderful to be part of. And it was produced by my friend Kate Milliken. So Kate Milliken, she kind of like in the beginning of my journey, we met, and she had this website, My Counterpain, where it was like a community of MSers. So it was her project based on the community of people sharing their stories. And I was one of those people. So when they came, at the time that the film crews came, I just shared what was part of my life at that time. I was working part-time 2 days a week and then being with my daughter. And they just wanted to know the truth about how hard it is to, but also that despite the struggles, there's still beauty in life.
Yeah. And what was her goal? Just to get that out as far and wide as possible?
Yeah, that's one of her many projects. Kay Milliken is definitely somebody to look up. She wanted to prove that sharing your story and being open and vulnerable will help heal you. I talk a lot about my depression, and I guess it does help heal me because I'm not keeping it in. I'm not ashamed about it, like everyone knows. So that was her mission, to show that sharing your story and building a community will help you feel better with MS. The director had another story. So there's 2 stories.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I think, and you can get that online, right?
It's free.
Watch it online. Okay, very cool. Well, we'll put a link up to that wherever we post this interview. So very cool.
Yes, it was wonderful being a part of it, but it was also wonderful watching it and like seeing all the other people. They're truly like, people are so spectacular in what they do despite their challenges.
Yeah, I keep saying that I just find this community so inspiring. Like, it's just such a positive mindset of people that are dealing with really hard things, but every day waking up and getting out there and encouraging others and staying positive and finding the best in life. I mean, so many stories that come in to MS Insight are people that are like, I got my diagnosis. And like you were saying, like some people sort of turn their life around and really make changes that have nothing to do with the MS, but are just changes that probably they may never have made without sort of a wake-up call to what is most important in life when you get a diagnosis like that. What would you say to someone? We have a lot of people coming in that literally are just getting diagnosed, like a week out, and they find our support group and they're like, I just got diagnosed last week, and their brains are just going crazy trying to figure out what's going on. So what would be your best advice to someone like that?
It would be to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be okay, right? I would say, yes, it's going to be hard. There's going to be many bad days. And I would just say, start, like you said, to focus on the things that are important. It's not just the medicine that you take. It's your environment. It's like, and this is what I believe, like what you eat, what you're thinking, the people around you, the stuff you watch on TV, because I'm personally influenced by everything. Like I could watch an Instagram story and be just like, my head will react to it. And it's not the story, just like that's how my brain reacts to it. So I would say, just calm down. It's going to be okay. Just like relax.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to somebody, like talk to the experts. Like I would say a therapist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a lot of MS centers have psychiatrists. Because I did learn that MS patients feel depression differently because of the physical lesions in their brains.
Interesting.
Right? So I would say talk to your team, share everything that you're feeling, come on Instagram, meet the community. There's people who are positive and there's like a lot of truth out there. But like calm down. Like don't freak out.
Yeah. It's something that well, the good thing is that there's been so much new research and there are a lot of new treatments coming out. And so there's only positive movement forward when it comes to MS, I think, at this point. So in terms of what they're discovering and how they're able to treat things. Yeah. It's much better to be diagnosed in 2021 than it was in like 1990. So
yeah.
So yeah, and I think you have an Instagram post from a few weeks or months ago where you have like a top 10 list of things to think about, or so look that one up on Diana's account, guys, because it was a really inspiring one. What is your, and last question is just sort of, what are some things that you do to stay positive and you know, keep looking forward in a positive way?
The big one is I stay in my lane. So like, and I feel the need to say this, a lot of my depression with getting diagnosed with MS, like I have a lot of cognitive challenges, like focus. I would compare it to like ADHD symptoms, right? And I would always try to do things outside of my reach and capabilities. Like I would always strive for the stars, right? But I tried to do things I wasn't really able to do. And then I would fail. And it was like a cycle, perpetuating a cycle that would keep me in a depression. But then I finally came 7 years later to be like, okay, I have MS. I can't do that much, right? Like the reels, you mentioned the reels. When I can do them, I take it really slow. I could record something and then a week later I could edit it because my brain just can't do it. So I'm okay with that now. Like before I would be like, oh, you suck. You're so stupid. Like it takes you longer than everyone else. Like nobody's going to care about this, you know, like just all this negative thinking. And now I'm just like, chill, girl. This is your bandwidth today. You have to be okay with it. You have other things to do. You have to do like, just relax, you know? And yeah, it like sucks because you never, you know, you don't grow up as a kid. Like I can't wait to have like the bandwidth of a sloth today. You know what I mean? Like you don't grow up wishing for that, but you know, that's the reality. And I did create those reels. So I did produce those and I can't produce them now. So I'm just going to chill and wait for it to get back. Like, you know,
yeah, relax. That's a great perspective. You know, I just learned yesterday the meaning of the hashtag spoonies.
Oh yeah. Do
you know the story behind it?
Well, from my understanding, it's about the amount of spoons you have per day for any particular tasks.
Yeah, it's like once you run out of spoons, there's no more spoons, and you just have to stop doing whatever you're doing. And I had not known that story, but it's a really good tangible example of how to explain, you know, how you might be feeling in a particular day. And that acceptance is so important. And I know that you've had this for 9 years, so you've probably had to learn that over the years. But probably the sooner the better for anyone that is newly diagnosed. And honestly, that kind of mentality for like life in general for anyone, I think is probably a good, healthy mentality.
Definitely. Like I'm embarrassed to admit how long it took me to like identify like, oh, Spoonie. Okay, I get that. Yeah, that applies to my life. Because before I'd be like, no, I could do everything that I want to do today. No. And it really works with my husband because I explained it to him. I'm like, okay, so this is the Spoonie system. Some days I don't have, like if I don't have spoons, I tell him, I'm like, I don't have spoons for laundry. So if you hear like background noise, that's him.